Hey guys, and welcome to another quick cut edition of Gifted Monkey TV, all things toy and toy related. I'm Jordan Preston. Let's get right into it. Top 5 tips that I feel are good for collectors to know. Rocking my X-Force shirt today. I love it. A little Deadpool action and cable. Top 5 stuff, and do me a favor as we get into this along the count. Write down below and let me know if you have any tips that are good, that you think are helpful for other collectors, because this is a nice community, and I love having this community to share this stuff with you, and we banter back and forth down in the comment section, and I love that. So keep that going. If you have a tip that I might have forgotten or didn't say, and you think is a strong tip for us to know, put it down below. Thanks a lot for that. 5 tips of collecting. Let's start with number 5. Number 5, buy what you like. Collect what you like. It sounds easy and it sounds like a no-brainer, but a lot of people, especially when you begin collecting, you just amass everything you like, especially when those floodgates open, you have a little bit of coin to get certain things. You just amass everything from all different styles and sizes and heights and toy companies and everything. And then one day you sit around and you go, wow, what the hell did I do? And you know, a lot of vintage collectors will know that feeling too. It's like some days you say, go, what the hell did I do? I didn't need this. I wasn't really hot about that. So be careful with that, because there are a lot of figures out here that are so great, or the property's so popular and so cool, and you know all your fellow collectors are talking or getting them, or you know people are buying them all the time, or they just look so great you want to get it, but it's not really what you in your heart want to collect. Be careful. Make sure you really love it, because then eventually you might have to even sell that thing, which is another thing. If you buy something that you feel not super hot about, but you loved it, you love the movie that it came out in, or everybody's buying it, it's a hot time trend for it to be out, save the box. If you're a person that throws away your boxes because you know I'll never sell those figures, quote unquote, then save your box for that type of figure that you're lukewarm on. Because if you have to sell it and you still have the box and all the accessories it comes with, it makes it easier for you to resell, and you can resell it and not take such a hit, if you take a hit at all, with having everything together. That's a good tip. Okay, and so yeah, if you're collecting and you just start to buy everything that you like, it's a hard thing to do. You don't want to get into that type of collecting. Choose a lane. No, I like only Superman. I like Justice League. I like Marvel. I like DC. I like Star Wars. You know what I'm saying. Collect what you like and stay in that realm. And every once in a while, something so cool will have to come out that you have to pop out of that realm or out of that lane and buy it. That's fine, perfectly fine. My point is, just don't start buying and amassing everything from everywhere, because you don't have an identity yet. Just relax, breathe, and ask yourself, what do I really like? What really gets me going most of the times when I think about collecting? Which things do I like to collect? And go from there. You always got plenty of time to branch out later. Number 4, space. That's right. When you first start collecting, or even when you've been collecting for a while, 2 things. If you just start collecting, designate a space that you want to find in your room, in your garage, your basement, wherever you decide I'm going to start putting my figures, my collection, my stuff here on this wall, in this room, whatever. Make sure you designate a space. Nothing turns off a person coming to look at your collection more than seeing a room strewn with just boxes and collections laying on the floor, all in disarray. That undercuts your validity as a collector. A collector, also part of being a collector, upholding the title collector, you have to have some type of rhyme or reason in your collection. It should look almost like you're walking into a nice display area, like you see in a store and they have certain things displayed, or in a museum when you see things displayed all in a nice, orderly fashion that you, the onlooker, can just look and go, I get it. I see what that is. I understand what that is. Oh, wow, look at that over there. Now, what is all this? Explain to me what this is. Cut that mess. Always, when you start collecting, make sure you designate a nice, cool space to have your collection put up and that you can look at nicely. Which leads me into number 3, displaying your figures. Now, collecting can be a lot of fun, but eventually, if you keep on collecting, you're going to need to display those figures. Now that we figured out a space in your room or in your area that you want to display them, we're going to have to figure out what we want to put them on. That's where display cases come in mind. Back in the day, a store called IKEA was the main go-to for many old warheads. Remember that store? IKEA, still around, but they used to make a shelf called a Detolf shelf, which was a shelf that was about 5.5, 6 feet tall, maybe even a little taller, that would be all surrounded by glass, and they're like cubes. And they would come and they'd sit down, you could put about 8 of these things across the wall, and they would have about 4 or 5 levels to them, where you can display your figures or whatever you wanted to put into the shelves. I don't think they even make Detolf shelves anymore, but they were all the rage at the time. Now, they have all kind of different size shelving, Detolf cases, which by themselves, 1 or 2 of them take up a whole wall. All you have to do is go into Google, wherever you want to search, what your search engine of choice is, and look for display cases. You'll find all sorts of things. Now, it's best always if you can see the shelf that you want in person, or now they have them where you can actually 3D fit them into your room to see what they look like online. Those are kind of cool. Be careful of the sites. The further down the rabbit hole you go, the sketchier the sites may go, and you might not get your display case. Be careful with that. So look for that. Also, how you display them once you get your cases. That's very important. So you want to make sure that you always have your subject matter. If you want to put them in dioramas, and dioramas usually just showcase the scenes from the actual movie or the source material, or if you want to put them with just the whole thing, in other words, all your DC figures, all your Marvel figures, all your Star Wars figures in one case, in one view. Make sure you can kind of take suggestions, look at other people's work on YouTube. A lot of people have their images stacked, their source material stacked, their figures stacked. So you can see on one level, oh, I get it. Next level, oh yeah, I see them back there. Oh yeah, I see them all the way in the back. So nobody's obscuring the view of the other images of the figures or the sources of the things that you collect. So don't just lay them all on a shelf at the same eye level. Stack them if you need to. Put them on the side. Fishing line tape will be your friend, because you can suspend flying guys, swinging guys from fishing line. And fishing lines are almost invisible to the eye unless you get very close to it. It's a good tool to have for suspending flying figures, flying things, vehicles and ships. So look at that stuff. Always good to steal from other people's great ideas. So when you go to people's YouTube channels and you look at their display and how they organize their rooms, their space, their collection, take some ideas. How can I take and use that? And it might not be exactly how they do it, or they might have a bigger, better place than you are using at the time. Just take an idea and incorporate that into your display room. And remember, don't make it look like your room is hoarding. I'm going to give you a man tip. Nothing is worse for a woman that you're just starting to date to come into your display room and it's all over the place. What's cool is when you come off as a collector and your stuff is organized and it looks great, and they can, the novice, the person who doesn't collect at all, not even interested in collecting, can look at your stuff and go, wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, I get it. Wow, I like it. That's when you know you're on the right track. So keep that in mind with your collecting. Not to dissuade you from collecting, but even in collecting, there's ways to do it kind of cool, and there's ways not to do it that cool. So stick with the cool tip. All right? Good. 2. Watch that pre-order ratio. Man, everybody falls victim to this at some time, but it's a good thing to have in your conscious of your mind, especially newbies, man. Pre-order ratio. Sometimes you see something on the web, on the site, Sideshow, any of those places, and you go, I gotta get it. So you put your order down. Boom. $50 down to pre-order that, to hold it. Another one, you see it next day. I didn't know this was coming. Boom, $25 down to hold that. Another one, $150 down to hold that order. Next thing you know, you got, first of all, you've already put down about maybe $200 to $300 just in pre-order registration, just to hold that item, those items. It accumulates quickly. And then you say, that's okay, because I did it. I sacrificed that $300 to put these pre-orders down. But now I'll have the money when it comes to pay for them because they'll come at different times. This one will come in March, this one will come in May, this one will come in September, so no problem. But then they get done and they get processed and they get produced and then they get released. And sometimes they get released right along the same time. And between the 3 months or year, that 2 years that you put that pre-order down, life has happened. Things have changed. You might not have as much in your bank account anymore as you did a year ago. You might be putting it down for something else that you really want, a car or need or a kid or something, a family, a new house. You don't know that you didn't have raising its head back 5 months ago, 2 years ago when you put that on pre-order. And now all these things are starting to come in around the same time because they made them faster than they thought and they released them all around the same time. So now you have maybe 5 orders coming. Maybe nothing happened, but you don't make enough money to spend toward figures at one time as they start to come at you at one time. So you got to watch that. And then you have to cancel. You lose out on that deposit that you put down on that. $50 here, $25 here, $30 here. It adds up. So be very careful. Put down stuff on stuff that you really want to get. Not stuff that looks cool. Or that movie was so fire, man. I have to put it down on that. Even though I don't like that subject matter, that movie was really hot. So let me put that pre-order down on that figure. Okay? Be careful, be strong, and this collection business is about discipline because it can break you quick and it can alienate you even quicker from family members and friends. So be careful with that, okay? So pre-order with discretion. Get stuff you really, really love. And if you have money to go at it like that, then what I'm saying is a moot point. Just order what you like because you'll always be ready to drop that coin whenever it comes through. So don't worry about it. But if you just like most people, and you have to concern and put your monies away for different things in life, don't jam yourself up with a whole lot of pre-orders, man. That can come back to haunt you and bite you in the butt. Remember, it's about having fun being a collector. Oh, and before we get to number 1, a little caveat. When you start collecting, and this is I'm talking to beginners mostly. When you start collecting, you don't know what you want to do most times. You don't know where you want to go. You see so many cool things, statues, hot toys, that type of stuff, 1/6 scale, 1/12 scale. A lot of collectors, I know the gateway drug for us was 1/12 scale. That's your Marvel Legends, your Star Wars Black. Those figures that are that high, about 6 to 7 inches, McFarlane. Those figures, they get you into stuff. And then as you collect those for a few years, then you sometimes gravitate and start to want to say, I want more. I want something bigger. Or this figure comes out and that's a hot toy. Or that's from Sideshow. Or from another place, New Art. Or something like that. And you just go, wow, this is a bigger scale than I do. But it looks so great. Be careful. Because that's the start of going into something else. Now, if you can afford $250, $300, $500 figures that are usually the 12-inch size, go for it. But be careful of breaking the bank of yourself if you normally collect 1/12 scales that you can find at Target, Walmart, and stuff like that and order online, than stuff that you can get into trouble with Sideshow and those type of people. So make sure your bank can afford what your heart wants to get. That's a little caveat like that. I'm letting you know as a collector. But number 1, speaking of that, is tip number 1. Never let your collection go at the sacrifice of your family and your bills paid or priorities that you need to pay. And that sounds like a common sense thing. And we all go, of course not. But sometimes as collectors, we get addicted into that collection. And the worst thing you can do to affect your partner and your partner's love for you collecting, or you're letting it slide in the house as a collection, is for you to not be able to afford other things, but you still have a growing collection. So always make sure your collection is a great hobby. It's fun to do, but if you want to keep it fun and you want to keep it all copacetic, as the kids say in the house, you want to keep it going fun, do not let what happens at home be a sacrifice for what you're doing with your collection, okay? Always make sure your home life, your well-being, and what you do to keep yourself going on a day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year basis comes first. then you can enjoy a nice collection because you know you're taking care of home first. Okay? Collection should be fun. It should be admired and something good. And I hope it is for you guys. All right, so what did you guys think about the 5 tips for collectors? Hopefully these tips came in handy, whether you've been collecting for years or something. You just say, oh yeah, I forgot about that, but I need to put that into my collection psyche. So hopefully you guys heard some good stuff today. Write down below, any of these things ever happened to you during your collection journey? Have you ever fell into one of those traps? Have you ever thought about doing this? Did you get a brand new idea? Hopefully I helped in some degree. And remember, collecting figures, collecting whatever you collect can be as fun as a barrel of monkeys. But respect the monkey. Play nice. Take care, guys.